Hi guys, it's Theo Stocker here from Yachting Monthly, and today we're going to go for a sail on the Saffier SE33 Life, and I'm here with Mark Williams, the UK dealer, and Kai Heemskerk from Saffier in Holland, and we're sailing out of Lymington into the Western Solent. We've got a beautiful sunny day, we've got a bit of breeze, hopefully that's going to build as well, and we're going to see what this boat can do. Now, she's not meant to be a heavyweight cruising boat, nor is she meant to be a racing boat. She's a luxury day sailor that's meant for really enjoyable, simple sailing by one or two people. She's only just over 3 tons, but she's got 40% of that in the ballast and a good big sail plan, so she should really shift. We've also got a Code Zero and a Jennifer on board today, so I'm really looking forward to pushing the boat and seeing what we can get out of her. Right, well, we are back on our way downwind, back towards Hurst Castle. We've just been playing out around the Needles and we have been having a great time. This boat sails beautifully. She's not very heavy, she's got loads of displacement and loads of canvas with a really deep single rudder, which means I've got bags of control, and we've been pointing at about 28 to 32 degrees upwind, sailing somewhere between 5.8 and 6.2, 6.3 knots on the breeze. And now we're going downwind. We're just cruising along nicely on a fairly deep point of sail, 130 degrees to the apparent wind, and doing 7.5 knots, which is very relaxing. We'll heat it up in a minute and then we'll see how fast we can get. We did manage to get it up to 10.5 knots, although she sits more comfortably around 9.5. So we'll see if we can repeat that in a second. While we are sailing back in towards Lymington, we've got a quiet moment, so I thought I'd have a quick chat with Kai Heemskerk. I hope I said that right, Kai.
Yeah, correct.
And Kai is the sales director for Saffier, and he's been good enough to come over today for the test sail. Kai, can you just explain to us a little bit about the concept behind the Saffier SE33 Life?
Yeah, no problem. Well, we designed Daysailers already for more than 25 years. And this is the latest one, or not the latest one anymore, but it's one of the one designed in 2021, launched in 2022, and the concept is really day sailing. So we have a huge cockpit around us over here, but that all combined with the single-handed sailing, all the comfort inside the cockpit, and well, without any maintenance, and everything combined, yeah, with a lot of performance in this beautiful day sailing.
So it's really meant to be simple sailing.
Yeah, simple sailing. We brought back all sheets, halyards, streamlines, all to the helmsman position over here. Yeah. So you can really easy handle this boat.
Yeah, and it's all push button.
All
sailing.
Push button sailing. Yeah, we have the electric winches on both sides. We can operate it from here, and I can operate the other winch as well.
And I think safety was one of the sort of things behind what you wanted to achieve. How have you set about making this boat safer?
Well, we did a redesign on the 33. This boat is a little bit wider, but especially everything underwater is a little wider. So we have a lot more stability on this boat, and you sit quite deep in the cockpit as well. We can add stanchions and a complete railing around the boat. So
that would make it RCD category B rather than
correct,
C. Yeah,
correct.
Okay.
So yeah.
And do many people do that?
It's about 25%.
Yeah.
So it's more people like sailing on the sea somewhere, or bigger lakes, or sailing with children.
Yeah. And what have you done to get performance out of this boat to make it a quick boat to sail?
Well, we have this beautiful Selden carbon fiber rig, carbon fiber spreaders, carbon fiber boom, and we have a powerful set of Elfstrom sails on
so
it.
that's optional. You can just have the aluminium
Aluminium
rig.
is the standard rig.
But most people would go for the carbon.
98% will go for the carbon.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
To get the performance in, you have the right set of downwind sails. We have a very versatile Code Zero, which we call. So literally everybody takes the Code Zero, and some people add the Jennifer to it as well to get the extra.
Yeah, and as you saw today, we get quite a lot of speed out of that.
Yeah. What we did today was
11.5 was the top speed.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then just in terms of construction, how's the boat made? I mean, you build 160 boats at the moment, don't you?
We build 160 boats a year.
Yeah.
We have our own fiberglass plant in Enkhuizen, just an hour north of IJmuiden. That's where we do all the molding, so the big fiberglass works. It's vacuum infused fiberglass, and the deck is reinforced with carbon fiber in at the foredeck. To keep the interior open, so we don't have a main bulkhead inside. It's just the material itself that holds it together.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Got you. Great. Well, thank you very much for coming over and for the sail today.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're on our way back in, so I thought I'd show you around the boat on deck a little bit, and you can see what's what. Now, let's start at the stern with the most important things. What would a boat like this be without a carbon fibre ensign staff? Very important. Looks pretty cool. I'm not sure it's that important to keep the weight down, but I like it. We've got a stern bathing platform down there that pops out, folds down, very sleek. Shore power, and you can have a deck shower attachment in the quarters here. This boat hasn't got the shower on it. Now I'm on the sun platform, sorry, I should be reclining like this really. We haven't got the cushions on today, but normally this boat would be sailed with cushions across here, gentleman seat backrests around here, and then cushions forward in the cockpit as well, to make it all very comfortable. Flush in the deck here, we've got the traveller. You can see we've been using that today, so you can move the traveller up and down with a good amount of adjustment. And then I've also got the backstay controller here, so I can ease and tighten the backstay from either side. That's really nice. It's just right aft of the helm station. I've got a good big lazarette in here, and then on port side here we've also got a fridge, which is a proper refrigerated fridge, not just a cool box, so you can have your beers, your chocolate, your sandwiches, your champagne, whatever it is that you're sailing with. Coming forwards then up to the helm station. So you can see we've got twin wheels driving a single rudder, which has got a deep fin rudder. It's all Jeffer steering. And then I've got the controls here. I've got an autopilot control down there if I want it. Engine controls. On this boat we've got a 15 horsepower Yanmar. There is an option to have a 12 kilowatt Torqeedo electric drive, which some people go for, but out here where we've had 3.5 knots of tide today, and you might have some significant motoring to do, I quite like the option of the diesel, get out of jail free card. We haven't got huge tanks on board because this boat isn't meant for long distance cruising, but you've got more than enough for motoring for a day. Chocks on the deck to keep you nice and secure, and this has got S-Tech synthetic teak, which feels really nice. It looks nice, it's grippy underfoot, and it dries out really quickly, and it doesn't lead to deforestation of Myanmar, which is a nice bonus. The wheels then, we've got 2 composite wheels and a chart plotter pod on either side. That's really nice. I can see my instruments or my chart plotter on either side. And then here I've got really the control centre of the boat. There's one of these on either side with all lines led aft, and they come back to powered winches. And on this boat they are reversible winches with buttons either side, so I can push this one, so the forward switches relate to the winch on your side, the aft switches relate to the winch on the other side, and the same is true either way, which is great. I like that. The only line down here, that's the tack line for the code 0, and then I've got a furling line on port side. All the other lines are on the top here. In front of the helm station, we've also got these great rope bins. So for ropes that you're not using and lines that you're not using loads, you've got this one under the cockpit seat that hinges open with a little gap there to fit your lines in. For ropes that you're using a bit more, underneath that there's another rope bin at the aft of the seat ends. In the cockpit itself, when we're in harbour I'll show you the engine, because that's accessed through the cockpit sole. You can get at it from the cabin, but really there's a hatch that comes out of the way and you can access everything for the engine top down. And then on port side we've also got a cockpit locker. That's a hull depth cockpit locker, and that takes code 0 and our spinnaker and all of the other stuff. So alongside the lazarette we've got good amounts of stowage. Going forwards then, we've also got 2 manual primary winches here, and you would use this. This boat's fitted with a self-tacking jib as well as an overlapping jib, so that you can have either option. Self-tacking jib gives you a bit more power, and that is also good for the spinnaker sheets as well when you're using that. Let's go forwards then, as we're coming in. Whoop. Right, at the forward end of the cockpit you can see we've got this great windscreen. It looks like a solid glass windscreen, it's not, it's actually flexible and it's supported with little flexible battens, so you could fold it down, it's not made for folding down, and then there's a spray hood inside that then folds up. We obviously haven't used that today, but you can do that if you want a bit more shelter. This boat's got the carbon rig, that's a really nice performance boosting option. Obviously it's going to cost more, but if you're spending on a boat like this to start with, it's probably not a huge sum of money for you. Self-tacking jib on this boat with a blade jib with leech battens, so it points really nicely. Off-wind, you're going to benefit from your code 0, which is why that's on board. Going forwards then, just as we come up onto the wind, that's where it feels a little bit exposed because you haven't got any guard wires. I'm used to boats with guard wires because I'm a cruising sailor largely. But at the forward end, you can see here we've got below deck furling for the jib. We've got a 1.1 metre long bowsprit. That's a carbon bowsprit, sticks way out to get really good projection for your code 0. And then we've got an anchor locker in here. When we're back in harbour, I'll show you, because there is a fold out bow roller that comes out to port side, locks in, but it means that you can fold it away and it looks super sleek, can't get caught on anything. Oh yeah, and we've also got these little pop-up cleats, which is just a lovely little touch. So she is a very tidy boat. Right, now we're back in harbour, I'll just show you a couple of things at the stern. First is we've got these neat little ports. This one here is a connection for shore power, and on starboard side, this boat isn't fitted with it, but you can have a deck shower there if you want to. The boat's got 80 litres of water and you can get hot water off the engine. So once you've been swimming, you can rinse off, which is always nice to do. And then we've also got a little bathing platform. We're against the pontoon, so I won't get it fully out. But that's your bathing platform. Stows neatly in there, like that. I'll just show you the little folding anchor roller, which I really like as a system. So the anchor here is permanently mounted onto the roller with a pin. You're just going to lower that down. Slots, the little pin slots into a hole there. Make sure the chain's on the roller, and then we've got our got our control here. It just goes like that. And it comes back and sits on a little support inside the locker here. Well, we're back in harbour now. As you can see, we've got the cockpit cushions out, and this is a very nice place to sit and relax. And this boat is all about the cockpit and being on deck. This is where it's all meant to happen. But if you want to stay overnight when you're down with your friends, after you've been out for a meal, then there is space to do that. So let's have a look down below. So portside aft, we've got a small galley. It is small being the operative word. Little sink with a tap. We've got an induction hob on this boat that runs off shore power, but you can opt to have an inverter so it can run off the domestic batteries if you want it. There's a reasonable sized fridge in here. Obviously you've got to have enough space for your drinks for the weekend. And then we've got some USB ports and power sockets for charging up all your devices, and an electrical control panel in here. All your light switches and gauge, that's actually for your black water tank. Obviously all the navigation happens on decks, there's no chart table. Under the companionway step, we've got a locker in here. This is really the only stowage you get for the galley. So this is probably where your kettle and your coffee cups are going to be in there. This boat hasn't got it, but if you did opt for the coffee bar and espresso machine, this is where it would go. It being a Dutch boat, that is very important, though obviously plenty of people like their flat white in the morning. Let's have a look at the heads compartment. Well, if you reverse in, there's just about space to do your business in the morning. Absolutely essential to have on board, and it's really nice that on a boat of this type, it's not just a porta potty under the V-berth forwards. It's nice that you can have a little bit of privacy. There are no opening hatches in here, but there's space for a toilet roll holder and some stowage just above it. And then behind me, I'll come out of the way and you can have a look at the hanging locker, and there's also the space where the domestic batteries are. So in the bow we've got a large V-berth. It's 2 meters 20 long, so that should be long enough for even the tallest sailor, and 1 meter 80 wide. You can see here there's a little lifting cushion, and this box comes out and that extends this starboard settee into a full-length berth. So if you want somebody to sleep there, you can do. For 2 people, absolutely fine. You've got the privacy of a toilet, so as not to kill the romance. But if there's if there's more of you, then obviously it's going to be a little bit cosy. Stowage wise, we've got a good big drawer here that's got charts and binoculars and that kind of stuff in. And there's another bin here. Forward of that, you've got a water tank, and there is an option to have a retracting bow thrust if you want to. I mean, it's a small light boat, so you probably don't need one. But otherwise, stowage is going to be in kit bags. And then we've also got an opening hatch here. There's some overhead lockers above the berths, just little tiny lockers there, and some shelf space as well. So there's more than enough to be comfortable for a couple of days on board anyway. Just while we're down below, I thought I'd talk about the structure of the boat. And you can see here that we've got a really solidly, slightly over-engineered boat. The builders are really confident about the strength of the boat and are actually quite relaxed about running them aground as well. Not that I'd endorse that, but you've got 4 pairs of really solid keel bolts here, and then you've got 5 athwartship stringers to give the hull strength. Below the waterline, you've got solid laminate for the whole underwater keel area and underwater area, and particularly around the keel. Top sides are foam sandwich. It's all vacuum infused. And then you'll notice that we haven't got any bulkheads down below, and that's thanks to the carbon deck. We've got a sort of a 3-layer waffle weave of carbon deck, which makes it really stiff. It means that you can get away without putting any bulkheads down below to close off the area. And the boat did feel really stiff under sail. So there we have it. That is the Saffier SE33 Life. I hope you've enjoyed coming aboard with me today. I've certainly had a brilliant sail, and this boat gives a lot of sailing enjoyment. We've had quite a varied breeze today, from sort of 14 true wind up to about 24 knots. So a good spectrum, and we've been able to push her quite hard. You can see that from the footage that there's probably a bit of heeling. The good news is that she's got almost unlimited grip, certainly going upwind, and she's beautifully light on the helm and really easy to control. She's very manoeuvrable, and it's quite easy to get her in the groove and keep her in the groove, which is really nice. It sits in this sort of little niche by herself. Obviously, she's not particularly a cruising boat in that you wouldn't go away for weeks and weeks on her, nor would you probably race her, though you could do. She's a quick boat. So she sits in this niche of daysailer by herself, particularly a luxury daysailer, and she does that really incredibly well. You can take up to 10 people on board, supposedly, according to Saffier, in the enormous cockpit. And if you wanted to stay over with a partner, at the end of the day, there is space to do that, though that's not really the point of this boat. Off the wind, she really moves. We got the boat up to 11.5 knots today in some of the gusts of sort of 20, 24, 25 knots, more easily sitting around sort of 8 or 9 knots. And that's with a 60 square metre Jenniker up, and we tried the code 0. But even without any of that, she keeps up really good average speeds. We lost grip once or twice in some of the big gusts with the Jenniker up, but that's entirely my fault. And actually, when you're pushing it in that sort of breeze, that's going to happen. That's part of the fun of it. A couple of other little things I noticed. So we had wind over tide chop, particularly off Hurst, and the boat's got quite a fine entry. She's beamier than her predecessor, but the entry is fine. She's got a low freeboard, which meant that when we hit a really steep little wave, she didn't slam at all, but she cut through it. We did get a bit wet in the cockpit when the wave came over, but apart from that, no waves really made it into the cockpit. So she was dry. If you wanted to, there is a spray hood, but she looks lovely without it, so we kept it down. In terms of price, I'm sure you are wondering how much this boat costs. So from the boatyard in Holland, base price excluding VAT in euros, she's 179,000 euros. That's at today's prices in 2024. This boat, as we tested today, completely specced up, all the sails, rig, carbon, instruments, all of that stuff. She is £280,000, including VAT. She's not a cheap boat, and she isn't going to give you long distance cruising. That's not what she's about. But if you are after a boat that gives you 33 foot of pure sailing pleasure with a minimum of clutter getting in the way to distract you from it, then this well could be your next boat.